I'm Matt, and this is Procrastination Garage.
It's a chilly Wednesday morning, about 38 degrees, kind of gloomy. Could use some sunshine right about now. And when I say it's Wednesday of the wrong week. Basically, I've not started last week's video. And I have lots of excuses. Most of them are pretty valid. It's just there's been a lot of other stuff going on. I haven't had time. But we've got to get some content going. We've got some projects to do, or at least one main project we're going to get done today. So let me show you. If you've been watching the channel, you know I've got quite a bit of firewood. This all needs to be split here. That stuff's been split there. Down in the lower property, I've got a bunch more firewood. And also notice those are the hoses from last week. They still haven't been rolled up, but haven't had any warm weather either. Anyway, and then that fence area there on the other side of it is a bunch of firewood in there. So it's nice that all this firewood is here. It's not too far from the house, but not real convenient. And plus out here it tends to get wet if I don't throw a tarp over or something. So let's improve this situation. Out here on the patio, I've got that area right there. That's the hot tub, but the entrance to the hot tub is over on this side, so it's okay that I could stack some firewood right there. And yeah, the little used barbecue sits there, but it can roll straight out there, which I do anyway before I use it. So what I'm thinking is to build some kind of firewood rack to go right in here, and then I can bring the firewood up and stack it in there. And another thought is, I don't know if I have enough height here. If I could get the tractor underneath that, then I could move this firewood rack around with the forks on the tractor, and that would make it real convenient. We'll figure this out as we go. All right, I've grabbed some old fence boards from my pile, and let's go make something.
All right, that was just an exercise to see if I could in fact get the tractor up underneath the cover and if I could bring something if it was on the pallet forks. So if I build a rack that will sit on those, I can bring it up here, set it in place, loaded with firewood, maybe not completely loaded, I don't know how heavy that would be. And then when spring rolls around, we're done with fires, I can come in and pick it up and haul it off somewhere. So let's build something now. So what do you think? I'm thinking something like that. About that long. And I'm going to have sides on it to come up too, but this is enough to get the framework started. So let me cut up some boards and screw some stuff together and show you. There's the bottom of the structure all screwed together. And then I'm going to use these as some cross pieces to keep the wood from falling down through. These are left over from a railing I took apart on my back deck. And they're getting kind of punky, but they'll be good enough for what I want to use them for. I've been wondering what I was going to do with them. I was just about ready to turn them into kindling, but this is better. The next thing I want to do is make cutouts for the forks to go under. So after taking some measurements of the forks and doing some layout on here, what I ended up with was the forks are 4 inches wide, 1.5 inches tall. So I went 2 inches tall. That gives me a 1/2 inch to play with. And then originally I went 6 inches. Decided that I wanted to give a little more, so I ended up opening it up to 7 inches. So I've got those laid out equally. Going to cut those out with my trusty saber saw. And then I'll have to do the same to the other end. Check it out. I've got cutouts on both sides. So now we can get forks in there. Next thing we need to work on are the uprights. And first I'm going to take a lunch break. For the uprights, I'm going to use these two boards here. There are two of them there. I cut those at 6 feet. So they're going to come up off of here 6 feet, and then I'll have pieces going across the top. But I'm not going to use them as 2x6s. I'm going to go ahead and cut them down the middle and make a 2x3 roughly. So I've got to go find the table saw. I found it. It's right down here in the motorhome bay. Of course, it's in the way, just like all that stuff is. We need to get this moved so we get the motorhome back in. For now, let's just make enough room to where I can use it to rip down 2 6-foot boards. You see these? This is really tempting. These are 2x3s already cut down. And these were left over from when I made the shelves for the container. I could go ahead and grab these, but honestly, I want to make more shelves for the container, so I should just leave these alone. So we'll just go ahead and get them out of the way. All right, I kind of screwed that second one up. What happened was that I didn't realize it when I started cutting it, but I had this bad section here that was on the fence side. So when I got to it, it was starting to kick it out. So when I came at it from the other direction, because the blade is not centered exactly perfect, you can't really center it exactly perfect unless you want to adjust it for each board. So anyway, because of that, I ended up with a different cut line, which isn't the end of the world. I may get my planer out and try and fix that a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to win any beauty contests here, so does it really matter? Probably not. I'll think about it. All right, compare that to that. See, that looks a lot better. That looks like just kind of rough cut, whereas that looks like a mistake. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the other one, and we'll make it look better. So I may clean that one up a little bit more because it probably looks like it got real skinny there. And I don't know, we'll make it look as good as we can. All 4 uprights are complete. Now, the easy way to do this would be to put these on the outside, like that. That's not really what I want to do though. And the reason is because these pieces here that I've got, some of them are kind of rotted at one end, and so they're not going to be able to span that whole distance. So if I put these on the inside, then I can cut them about 2 inches shorter, and that'll probably work. Plus that'll mean the overall width is there and not outside of that. Now what that does mean if I do that is I've got to notch these so they'll fit, and I don't know if I want to notch this piece for the whole width of that, or if I want to notch it a couple inches and take the rest out of that. That just makes more work, but it won't affect the strength of this one as much, and I'm not so worried about the strength of these because they're just kind of there to keep the wood from going side to side and also to add a little structural support. I don't know, we'll see. So what do you think of that? All right, I've got the bottom board notched, and you can see I've got about 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to notch these boards in here so it slides across there, and in the end it'll be flush with this. So I've got to make those 4 cuts, and then we'll be ready to start screwing this together. What do you think? I've got all of them notched in, and I've got 1 screw holding them. There's going to be 3 screws holding the base of each one. And of course we only put 1 screw in so we can move the tops around, because we need to put a piece across the top going this way and a piece across the top going this way. So that's next. So let's get started. I've got both top pieces screwed into place. So now we're going to work on the ones that go across here. They need to be the same length as down there. Do you remember what that was? 66? I don't know. I'll measure it. Both top pieces are now in place. So what we need to do is we need to make more of these to come up through here on both sides. They'll be a little shorter since they don't have to span as much. So let's get to it. We're losing daylight, but that's all right, because I do have lights up underneath the patio cover here. All right, that side over there, the left side, is done. Top to bottom, got them spaced every 4 inches. That's how they're spaced on the bottom, 4 inches center on center. So we've got that side done. We have this side left. We're cutting our pickets here. There's some of them over there. I've got more out back. So things are coming along nicely. The goal is to get this part done tonight. One other thing that I kind of want to do, I may skip it, probably skip it tonight, is I like to put a cross brace across to there. I don't know how important that really is. The reason I left this a 2x6 up here is so I can get more screws in it to provide some stability this way on both those. And then the same thing down at the bottom. Well, there's only one screw right now, but they'll have 3 screws each holding at the bottom. So we'll see. It depends how motivated I am by the time I get these other. There's 14 of those little pieces that need to go up and down here. And I'm burnt out on doing them, but like I said, I got to at least get that done tonight. So I'll show you when I'm done. It's a little after 6 p.m. and we're all done on that side, all done on that side, across the bottom. Next thing I'm going to do is flip this over on its side because I got to put in some more screws on the bottom. So I'm going to flip it one way then the other just because it'll be easier for me. While I've got a tip like this would be a good time to put a support across the back. So I have this piece of wood here. I was sitting out in the rain, but that's fine. I'll go ahead and mark it, get my circular saw, make a couple cuts. Although I think I'm out of 3-inch screws, or I think I got like 2 left. Maybe I can scrounge up some more. If not, I can add the screws at a later date. Look at that, it's done. And not only did I get the back piece in there, I actually found some more screws. So now all we gotta do is fill it with wood. That's tomorrow's project. Hi, just taking a quick break. Since you're still here, do me a favor and hit the like button, and please subscribe. And if you haven't already, tell all your friends. Let's get back to it. Thanks.
It's a gloomy Thursday morning. Not super cold, probably 40-ish or so. It rained all night, but the rain is supposed to be done. Let's hope that's true. So today's plan is to put the firewood in the new rack, as I'd originally said. Need to get all our tools cleaned up because I just left them out last night. Need to sweep up the patio a little bit. Those 3 remaining 2x6s there, they're kind of rotted. They need to be cut up into firewood. But I've got a pile of 2x6s that need to be cut up into firewood, so I'm just going to add those to it, not do it today, I don't believe. So originally I was going to get the tractor and move the rack down and load it up and bring it back. I know I can't fill it all the way full. After thinking about it, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to get the firewood in the bucket of the tractor and bring it up that way. So let's get to work on everything we have to do. We'll start by getting all the tools put away. Looks good, right? Tools put away, everything's swept. Not swept real good. When things dry out, I'll come up here with the leaf blower and blow out the sawdust and everything. But now we need some firewood.
think I've got our workstation all set up. Got the bucket sitting right there. I've got the splitter right there. Got the logs right there. So I'll grab them, split them, put them in there, and then take them up to the house. That gonna work? Hope so. So there we are after 5 bucket loads. So basically it's half full. That's pretty good. We're gonna finish up, but first gotta take a lunch break. Look at that, all filled up. Even had a little bit extra I stacked right there. And I had some leftover 2x6s over there. I put those in the house next to the wood stove. That's kind of some kindling I didn't have a place for, but next time I start a fire, I'll burn that up. So we're in good shape. I do need to clean all this out of the bucket, but again, this is kind of more kindling stuff, so I need to get like a plastic tub to put it in. So I'll do that before I put the tractor away. The next thing I want to do is get this motorhome bay cleared out and get the motorhome parked back in there today. So what's that going to entail? See, remember I brought some of this equipment over from the garage, so it doesn't really have a place over here. So I think the table saw, since it's on wheels, I'm going to park it right in that spot right there for now. I'm hoping that this radial arm saw, I can stash it back in there next to that yellow snowmobile. And also that drill press that's on that little filing cabinet thing, maybe get it back in there too. And that opens up the bay. Just got to put the table away and the tools there and sweep the floor, and then we'll get the motorhome back in here. Well, that's awesome. Motorhome hasn't been in the shop in months. Early summer, midsummer, something. I don't mind it being outside, except it's been raining quite a bit lately. So we still have room to put the tractor in here. We're not fully organized. The table saw, eventually I want the table saw, I think over in the far corner over there. But it's good enough for now. The next project we're going to be working on is this little tow behind snowmobile sled here. But I'll be able to get at it by just moving the UTV out of the way. So you might have noticed there was a lot of jockeying with the motorhome. That was because I didn't really want to move the log splitter until I was ready to park it. I couldn't really park the log splitter until I got the motorhome out of the way. So we're in good shape now. I'm going to go ahead and put the log splitter back in the garage, and we'll get the tractor put away, and then we're getting ready to wrap up. We did have one unfinished project from a couple weeks ago. Remember, the squirters weren't working for the windshield wipers on the motorhome, and I'm hoping it's because it's out of fluid, and the fluid I had was for 32 degrees and above, and we're coming into winter, so that wasn't going to work. So I've since bought some new, so let's fill it up and see if they work. That didn't bode well. Didn't take very much at all. Well, we'll go ahead and try them anyway and see if they're working now. No worky. Well, I guess we got a project here after all. That's too bad, because that's not the kind of project I want. That's a wrap on this week's Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You got to give me some credit. I mean, I know the video is nearly a week late, but the fact is, yesterday was Wednesday, and I had no video whatsoever. I mean, I had done nothing. And I managed to come up with a project, figure it out, put it together, and then today we finished it up by filling it with firewood and everything. And I'm proud of myself. I mean, I think that's a pretty good accomplishment, and I really had a need for that. So that's all good. Remember, the number one goal of Procrastination Garage is to keep me motivated, to get me out in the shop, out in the yard, even up in the mountains playing, but just so I'm doing something, not sitting around watching YouTube, TikTok, and whatever. So do me a favor, down in the comments, tell me about the project you're working on, or better yet, tell me about the things you're procrastinating about. I find that interesting because, you know, we all procrastinate. So I hope you'll come back next week. I hope you guys hit the like button. I hope you subscribe. And remember, my name is Matt. This is Procrastination Garage, and we'll see you then.